Hey everybody, it's Coach Joshua, and I'm joined today by Sebastian. Sebastian's a longtime client of mine, and he just got back from a trip, and he's got some wicked back pain. So I'm gonna help him. ROM Coach app is gonna help him, and we're gonna find some content that he can do to settle things down. So Sebastian, why don't you tell us about the trip and where do you think the back pain came from?
Yeah, the trip is a business trip and it was to a conference. Firstly, I think part of the problem is being stuck on planes. A lot of flights where the seats just keep getting smaller and smaller, and you're just in a really hunched position. And then on top of that, you're trying to work in those positions on the laptop. And Yeah, it's a really compromised typing position, and I think just kind of being forced to be stuck in that for so long is probably what did it in the end.
Okay, and then at the conference, um, tell us what kind of conference it was and how you were moving around or not moving.
Well, so the conference is a music conference, but pretty typical for these type of trade show events. So you're standing a lot, and so for long periods, and that's probably also not the greatest because you don't really have as much choice of varying up your posture. And a lot of times you're not paying attention to it because you're listening to great music and chatting with friends. Um, Not always the first focus to be thinking
Yeah,
about how
yeah,
you're standing.
yeah, got it. So that paints a really clear picture. And you did the back pain start during the trip or when you got back?
I think I only noticed it when I got back and started getting behind a desk again. Um, and then things were, I was trying to work on it, but things got a little worse this weekend because I also had to do some lifting, and I was stuck in a car again for many hours. Things gotten actually worse again since then.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So hopefully, now that you're home and maybe you're like helping somebody move or whatever, hopefully that project is over and then you can regain control over your movement and make your own decisions and try not to be static. But you've you've definitely got some pain going on. So what are the triggers that you noticed?
So definitely, I actually notice it either if I'm sitting or standing for too long,
Yep. Yep.
in one position. So
So
I think
static. Yeah.
static seems to, for too long, seems to trigger it no matter what. And then, of
Yep.
course, even lifting, kind of even pretty lightweight things is now sort of on the painful side.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then you're familiar with uh spine shapes, right? So you're familiar with forward bending is flexion and backwards bending is extension. So just based on the triggers that you've noticed, do you think that either of those is more of the culprit than the other?
It's tough to say, but I think when it's the flexion is probably more of the issue.
Okay, perfect. So if you don't mind, we can actually do a quick test. Okay,
Sounds
and
good.
it involves recreating the paint. Okay,
Okay.
so if you stay in control and hopefully you can recreate the pain and tolerate just a little bit, so that we don't overdo it, just to sort of put us firmly in, either the flexion or the extension camp. But at the end of the day, and for anyone listening, it doesn't always have to be one or the other. It can be a combination, and then we can talk about how you can creatively deal with sort of hybrid situations. So let's get Sebastian to stand up and just face sideways, right? Perpendicular to the camera, right? So up you go. Yeah, getting up carefully. There you go. So we don't need to see your whole body, but we can certainly see the shape of your spine. If you just rotate a little bit more to the right, then we'll get a clear picture. Yeah, there we go. So we can see your typical curve, a little bit of forward um, pelvic tilt. But as you're standing there right now, how does it feel?
The lightest of pain on the kind of right side, lower back about here.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's try and recreate it with some flexion. So try and round your spine, right? So tilting your pelvis backward and then rounding forward. Does that set it off?
At the very extreme, I think I start to feel it in the leg.
Yeah. Okay, so get out of there. That's enough of that. And then try to go the other way. So slowly tilt your pelvis forward, right?
Yeah,
And then
this one I feel like immediately in on that spot in the back.
yeah, so we definitely have sort of a combination of things, okay? So which one do you think was worse? And we'll start with that one.
I think the forward like this sorry the second one.
So the backwards bending, so extension. Okay, so what I'm going to do is you can just come on back to the screen there. So anyone using the app, we're in the routines library. I got to the routine library by pressing train on the bottom menu. That's kind of the main in terms of menu systems. That's like the main menu. All right, and I'm going to tap on routines. All right, and we have this whole library. All of the routines are in there. There's so many, I've stopped counting, but I want to find a very specific one. So I'm going to tap on search, and then I'm just going to type in back because I know I'm looking for back pain. Tapping return clears the keyboard, and look, boom, acute low back pain extension. So if you read the overview and you're familiar with precision movement content, you'll see the term damage control. So the damage control routine was, I think, the very first back pain routine that Eric came up with. Okay, so you can read a little bit more about it. Okay, and because Sebastian is suggesting that extension is particularly bothersome, we're going to take a look at this one first. Okay, but we know that it's a little more complicated than that.
Welcome to the low
So
back
I
pain
tap
damage
on
control
the
routine.
routine,
This
and
routine
then we
has
get
been
the
used
really
by
great
thousands of
overview by Eric that I will let you all watch at your leisure. And then to see the exercises, I'm going to tap on programming, and boom, here's our list, okay, of exercises. So the first one is the active sit
the
and
active sit and
reach.
reach is an activation
And if
technique
Sebastian
that
were doing this on his own, he could just watch the video at his leisure, pause it, play it, rewind it, fast forward it, um, and then follow along. And then you see all the instructions are there for us. So this might be a little provocative, and this will further our test, okay, and confirm, the best course of action for Sebastian. So let's get you sitting on the floor with your legs outstretched, and we're going to try a forward reach. Okay, yeah, so down you go, and then reaching forward. So now we have the pelvis is tilted backwards and he's fully flexing the spine. So how does that feel?
Um, I'm just feeling my own lack of flexibility in the back of the
Yeah, so
legs.
no pain is lighting up, eh?
No.
Yeah, so there we go. So it might be it's safe to do it. Okay, so he's gonna hold it for a couple of seconds, and then he's gonna back off completely, right? Yeah, there you go. And just take a rest, and then he's gonna go back for more, right? Another reach, holding for a couple of seconds without bouncing, and then back off. There we go. And last one, it asks for 3 reps, so that's what we're gonna do. 3 reps, 2-second hold, and back off. And there you go. And then we're resting before the next set. So as you're sitting there right now, is everything cool? Everything feels good?
I'm feeling a little touch in the back here.
Yeah, so what I want you to do is stand up or get into a kneeling posture. Just get out of that pose if it's causing any discomfort. Okay, so that's a full rest. Okay, and have you succeeded in alleviating any pain or discomfort in that pose?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's going to be Sebastian's kind of go-to. If he starts to feel any discomfort, he's just going to get into this pose. It's not provocative, and it'll help him out. And then when you're ready, Sebastian, we're going to go back for 3 more active sit and reach holds.
Okay.
So going forward, 2-second hold and release. And certainly support yourself with your arms to take any provocative pressure off of the back. And then go back for more. And release. And last one. There we go. Okay, and then you can get into your safe position, and we'll go on to the next exercise, which is the hip bridge.
Okay.
The hip bridge is a
So again, I
fundamental
tap
core
on the hip
stability
bridge,
technique
and we
that
see
helps you
Coach
to develop the
Jazz,
ability to
right,
activate your
doing a
glutes
very,
while
very
keeping your lumbar
slow
extensors or your low
hip
back muscles
bridge.
relaxed.
Okay, so the key features here are that as she's going through the movement, okay, you could just chill out, Sebastian, while I talk before you go. As she's going through the movement, she's activating her glutes, but she's trying to keep her spine extensors quiet. Okay, so Sebastian, I want you to tune into your spine extensors, okay, the muscles that surround the spine on either side, and they crisscross through it in all kinds of fun ways, and those are going to be chill. So as you're lying there on the floor, I want you to squeeze your butt and try and tune into those back extensors and make sure that they are not active at the same time. What do you think?
Okay, yeah, I can feel how they're connected. But
Okay, excellent. So then you're slowly going to lift up the hips, pausing every so often to make sure that those spine extensors stay chill. And then you're just going to get up as high as is comfortable and pause for a sec. Again, squeezing the glutes and then trying to disassociate the activity of the spine extensors. What do you think?
yeah, it's doable.
Excellent. Okay, and we're gonna do this for 3 reps, okay? 2-second hold. So he's slowly gonna get up, squeezing the butt, and keeping those spine extensors chill. And then down he goes. And then we have 1 more repetition in this set. Okay, and then you can just chill out on the floor. I'll give you 30 seconds rest, and then we'll go back for another set, okay?
Awesome.
So Sebastian didn't see this, but anybody watching would have noticed me get up out of my chair and kind of pace around a little bit. Okay, so that's what Sebastian's talking about, having freedom of movement. So I noticed there's a little bit of discomfort in a certain area. That's my cue to stand up free it up, and then get back down into the chair. So what Sebastian was saying was that he felt kind of trapped in the plane and at the conference. So it's really tricky when you're in these situations, right? To try and find that freedom of movement. And maybe we can talk about some strategies in the comments. If anybody is watching, they can start some chatter about strategies and we can go from there. Okay, Sebastian, you ready for the next set?
Yep.
All right, go for it. So I see that time you got off the floor a little quicker. Were you still able to suppress your back extensors, your spine
I
extensors?
think so.
Yeah, good. Okay, so go even slower. Slower is better. And even though you're squeezing your butt, the main move is to keep those spine extensors quiet. Nice. Okay, and there's the third repetition. And down you go. So good, man. Okay, the next exercise is the 4-point opposites, also known as the bird
The
dog.
4-point opposite is one of the fundamental.
And anybody watching at home will definitely get a chance to watch Coach E perform this exercise along with all of his cues. But I'm going to talk Sebastian through it right now. So I think, Sebastian, for this one, we're going to get you to rotate the mat, right? 90 degrees, and then you'll just position yourself on the mat, and then we'll watch you head on. Okay? Yeah, perfect. So good. So get comfy on your hands and knees, right? The hand and knee placement is unique to everybody. So there's no rule that says your fingers have to be pointing straight ahead. You can decide on the correct width of your knees. So anybody watching, the exercise should resemble what Coach E is demonstrating, but you have to respect your own capabilities. Okay? And let's get Sebastian first to reach out in front of him with one hand without taking the fingers off of the floor. So you're reaching out, but fingertips still on the floor. Yeah. Now do the same thing with the opposite leg. Just reach out and keep those toes on the floor. Nice. So when he does this, he's going to feel an immediate shift in his pelvis and his weight. So I want you to try and bring yourself back to the midline. All right. And then when you feel that you're at that midline, then you're going to slowly lift the arm and the leg up, and they don't even have to go very high. Yeah, there you go. That's probably a little too high, Sebastian, right? Yeah. And then again, tune into your back. There's probably going to be some extension forces acting on your spine. So lower the arm and the leg until you feel those forces chill out and then it's comfortable. What do you think?
Yeah, it's somewhere here.
Yeah, so that's the zone you want to go to. Don't try and go as high as you can. All right. And then you can return the hand and the foot, and then we'll do the other side. So first by reaching out, get settled in that, keep that midline, and then slowly raise them. They don't even have to go very high. Just keep things nice and comfy, right? And let's see here, you get a 10-second hold, and we're gonna do it 4 times, okay?
Okay.
So let's get you to return. That was number 1. So reaching and lifting and really respecting your spine and pelvis position. Find that safe zone and stay there. And switch. And switch. and switch. This will be our third round, I believe. And switch. Yeah, notice that your weight shifted to the right, eh? So try and pull yourself back. Yeah, use your arm muscles, use your leg muscles to try and pull yourself back to that midline. And then we're going back for one round per side. Yeah, and really fight that shift. Coach E has a lot of other great cues that are included in the video. And it's now time for the last switch. Very good. And bring it back. So, and you can just have a seat, just find your safe. Yeah, just kneel down. So if I was with Sebastian in person, if we had a little more time, I'd get him to turn the mat the other way. I'd watch from the other plane, and then I'd be really able to see his pelvic tilt and his spine extension. But the fact that he's telling me that feedback, like, oh, if I lift the leg too high, oh, if I lift the arm too high, it's provocative. So where's the safe zone? That's like really important feedback from anybody using the routine. Okay, and the last exercise is the side plank. So if you want to rotate the mat back to the original position, and then we'll check out your side plank. There we go. Okay, perfect. So I'll just call up that video.
The side
There you
plank
go. Coach
is a core
Damien is
stability
showing us a
exercise
really
that
awesome
is really
side plank.
important for anybody.
If you can't do the side plank in this way, with the elbow on the floor and with straight legs, you've got to modify it. So for anybody watching who knows that they're going to have trouble getting on the floor to do this exercise, I would first say, hey, try it on your bed or an elevated surface. If that's still tricky, I would say drop to your knees. If that's still tricky, I would say stand up and then get your elbow on a countertop or another elevated surface. Any combination of those variables is going to help you do the side plank. So it's our hope at Precision Movement that people are watching the exercises and that they don't just sort of put a full stop on the technique without thinking of how they can respect their capabilities and modify the exercise and then progress it over time so that they can still benefit from it. So anybody watching, if you're having issue with planking exercises, just drop that note in the comments and I'll be able to give you some feedback. But I know Sebastian is a boss with the side planks, so he can do it exactly as demonstrated on the elbow with straight legs. So let's see how it goes. Okay? And you can start with your right arm. Yeah, that's good. Set up there and big boost. And then toss your head back a little bit. Yeah.
Seeing a little bit of
Just
pain.
yeah, so are you seeing yourself in the camera? Can you see how you're kind of bowing to the side? So lower your hips a little bit. Lower hip there. And then toss your head back a little more. And now I can actually draw a straight line from his nose through his sternum and his belly button and then his pubic bone. That's what I'd be doing. If I was there in person, I'd be having a ruler and I'd try and line up those points. Does that feel a little better now that you fixed that bowing?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and then you can lower it a little bit more and then see if you can get that feedback from yourself, and then you can just take a break. This is only a 10-second hold, but the key feature is that exploration, right? So Sebastian can feel more than I can see. So I might be able to notice something about his posture, but then he's making the change and then he's deciding whether or not it feels right. Okay? And I think you were successful with that. All right, and let's just switch the legs, right? Top foot forward and up you go. Yep, just rest your top arm on your body And just slide your head back into a more neutral position, right? No chin poke. Yeah, and then what do you think on that side?
Yeah, it's okay now.
And did you make an adjustment?
Yeah, tilting more backwards.
Aha, okay, and you can stop. And then when you say tilting more backwards, you can stop, take a rest. Do you mean to say that you rotated your whole body in
Yeah,
that
like
plane?
the top shoulder towards the back of the ear.
Yeah, yeah, so that's really great. So again, so Sebastian's exploring. When he first started off, it was a little provocative, but then he made this minor adjustment and he fixed it up. Okay, and then we'll go back to the other side because we have 3 more repetitions to do per side. And then again, listening, yeah, I can see his hips moving subtly, rotating the torso a little bit, trying to find that perfect pain-free position for him. Everybody's going to be a little different, but the exploratory process is the same. And you can switch. I'm not giving him a strict count here. I'm just sort of counting in my head. And then up he goes. Yeah, and see his art. He's trying to find that perfect position on this side. So his brain is learning. His AI, his AI is learning and acting. And let's do 2 more per side. Right? So switch. And then how are the transitions from side to side?
That's no issues there for me.
Yeah. So again, that is actually part of the exercise. So some people like, oh, when I release the side plank and I try and get to the other side, it's provocative. So you have to figure, okay, why is it provocative and how can you kind of circumvent that transition, make it less painful. All right, and back to the other side.
I'm also using my other hand to get into position. I'm just noticing.
Yeah, so good. Thank you for bringing that up. So he's actually giving himself assistance to get up into the position, right? So if people feel, oh, the planking hurts my bottom shoulder, right? Maybe use the other hand or try one of those earlier modifications, right? Instead of stopping altogether. All right, and let's go back for 1 more per side. Yeah, each time you do it, I feel like you're adjusting your alignment even more. Okay, and last time on the other side. All right, good stuff, Sebastian. So that is Sebastian's damage control routine. So he loves this routine so much now, okay, that he should really be favoriting it in the app. So if you watch, I tapped on the little red heart and I favorited it because I'm a premium subscriber. You can see, oh, that heart is still red there. And now that I'm in the library, even if I clear the search results, I can tap on favorites and boom, it goes right to my favorites, and then I can call it up
Welcome to the low back pain
that
damage
way.
control routine.
So that's Sebastian's homework, right? I think you've also tried some exercises from the other one, and that is also fair to do, just as long as they're not provocative. So now that you're back home and you're back at the desk, you're done moving your friends. It kind of sucks that you hurt yourself and then you had to do all that lifting and stuff like that. Like, um, but what are your strategies now that you have sort of more control over your environment? What are you gonna do?
I've been working at home where I can, stop and do routines like this in the middle of the workday, and splitting things up. I always try to keep in mind your suggestion of like every time you finish a task to get up. And then sometimes, there's these tasks that you're kind of on all day. So I was thinking maybe I could set a timer, just to remind me that it's been a while, because you can kind of get stuck into these, larger
Mm-hmm.
tasks
Mm-hmm.
kind of all day.
Yeah, and then what are you going to do if that doesn't work? What if the timer doesn't work? What if you just silence it?
Well, yeah, that's tough. I'm not sure what I would do.
Okay, so you try that out. Maybe you let us know how it goes in the comments, and then we can continue the discussion there, right? To see if we can help Sebastian and anyone else, in these, like he said, these tasks that kind of never end, and it's really easy to get stuck, right? So how do you program the regular movement into that task, right? One thing that Sebastian mentioned that I promote is that I think he said, whenever you finish a task, you get up or you do something different. So um, if people were watching, paying attention to me, I think I got up 3 times during this whole thing. So if it's possible for you to at least control whether you stand up or sit down, that's brilliant. Okay. Maybe after this video, we're going to end the video. I'm actually going to go downstairs, walk around the living room a little bit and get up. So that's like a bigger movement break. So that is sort of what he's alluding to, right? When you finish the task, you get up, you do something different, and then you get on to the next task. Really helpful stuff. Sebastian, stand up for us and compare how you feel now to when you started.
You know what? I think it's a little bit less when I'm just
Yeah,
standing here.
yeah, perfect, right? It might not be so much better, like you probably are not going to get rid of it after one session, but if you aim for 1 to 2% improvement, right, every time you try it, then over time you will improve. Okay, Sebastian, come on back to the screen. Anything else that you want to add to anybody watching?
Um, just yeah, I think it's so important to tune in to your body while you're doing these things, because there's so many cues that you get from if you start to listen. So I think that's all about that.
Mm. Is that overwhelming that there are so many cues?
Yeah. Well, at least some of them are screaming at you louder than others. So that's
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But what if we don't want people to get lost in the forest, so to speak, or what's that phrase? Seeing the trees through the forest or whatever, like getting overloaded with all the cues and trying to remember everything. And that should not be a deterrent. Okay, so if you feel like, oh, there's so much stuff to remember, just each time you do the exercise, just think about one thing. The next time you think about the other thing, over time, you're going to be able to integrate all of the cues. Okay, so I think that is really helpful advice from Sebastian. Thanks for having back pain and giving us the opportunity to go through the routine. No, I wish he didn't have back pain. I wish we were going through another routine. Hopefully, we will be able to at a later date. So, without anything further, thanks for watching. Thanks to Sebastian, and yeah, I hope everybody watching enjoyed the content.